Assalamu alaikum everyone. How are you guys? Let's continue. So, guys, let me mark your attendances as well. Now I have to mark your attendances. So, who's here? I waited for quite some time for everyone to show up. Who has not? Oh my God, Fahad is lucky. Who has not is not here now. So, who is here? Khushi's here and Basit is also here. So, we're going to. And Basit left all of a sudden. So, I think I should mark him still. Ishal isn't here. Fahad is here. And Asim isn't here. Raneem is here. Hayan isn't here. Saad is here. And apologies about that, guys. I got kicked out. All right. So let's continue. So we were now going to begin with what you may call equations. And from equations, we're going to move forward to graphs as well. All right, if there's anyone who does not understand what we did in the last class, do let me know. Now, let's continue. So, whenever I'm talking about when we did expressions, it was clearly simple that, it's just simple simplification and everything of that sort. And it was easy because we had an idea. In equations, obviously, for expressions, the easier part about expressions is that there is all expressions are dealt with the same way because they're just going to be simplified. So, and their simplification techniques are going to be very simple. You can factorize them, add or subtract them, or you could complete the square with them. Whatever it is, it's really simple. For equation, that is not the case. The reason for that is because equations themselves are further divided into what you may call for equations themselves, there are further subdivisions as well. And let's see what those are. So I'm going to try and draw some sort of a flow diagram for you guys. So let's begin with equations. Now, can anyone tell me how many types of equations there are? Yes, guys. Someone's got their hand up. Who is it? Yes, Sad. Could you tell me how many types of equations there are?
Three
Okay, which ones?
quadratic equations, simple equations, and what was the third one?
Quadratic and simple equations. Okay, Kushi has got her hand up. Yes, Kushi. You can. Yes, Sad, you're
Linear,
right about that. Hmm.
is it linear and non-linear equations?
Very well done, actually. Perfect. Spot on. Saad was telling us the further types of them, but technically there are only two types of equations. Very well done, Kushi. You've got your linear equations or you've got your non-linear equations. All right, like this is a no-brainer. You're going to either have your linear equations or your non-linear equations. So who can tell me what are linear equations?
which have power 1.
Well done, Basit. Welcome back to class as well. Yes, Basit, you're right. And who can tell me which are non-linear ones? Yes, guys. Which equations are non-linear? Hmm. Yes, come on. What do you guys think? Which equations are non-linear? Yes. Come on. Think about this, guys. Which equations do you guys think are non-linear? Hmm. The ones, okay, if linear are the ones which have the maximum power is equal to 1, then obviously non-linear ones are going to have the maximum power not equal to 1. That's a common sense. So linear equations are simply, if you put them in very simple words, the maximum power of the variable is equal to 1. So maximum power of the variable of any variable in that equation is equal to 1. These are the ones that I think Sadhu meant when he said simple equations. They're like really simple. There's nothing fancy about the powers, just simple x and y manipulation of the equation. So maximum powers of any variable is equal to 1 in an equation. Okay. Yes. Any other property that I might know of regarding equations? Yes, guys. Can anyone tell me any other property regarding equations? Yes. Yes, guys. Come on, think. Which any other property regarding any equation? Yes, come on. It's not that hard at all. Obviously, what is going to happen is that, for example, for linear equations, what's going to be the thing is that they're always going to form a straight line on the graph. So that is one other property of a linear equation, that it always forms a straight line graph. Forms a straight line graph. And the power of any variable is equal to 1. All right. Can anyone tell me what is the general form of a linear equation? Yes, Kushi.
Is it mx plus 3?
Mx plus
Sorry, mx
3.
plus c. Mx plus c.
All right. Yes, Kushi, you're right. It's mx plus c. Yes. So if I were to write down what is the general form of a quadratic equation, it is going to be y is equal to mx plus c. Where what are m and c? M is your gradient, c is your y-intercept, but we're not concerned with that right now. We're concerned with how what essentially are equations. When we move on to graphs, then we'll be concerned with them. Okay, let's look into an example. So, for example, any example of an equation, the only thing that I can think of right now is like, maybe like 5x plus, like 2x plus 7 or something like that. Could be the case. Any equation. Now you can clearly see the maximum power of any variable is 1. There's nothing greater than 1. There? Or there's nothing less than 1 as well. Now, if I want to solve this equation, what should I do? How do I solve this equation? Yes, guys. How to find out a solution for this equation? Any ideas, guys? How do you solve a linear equation? Because it's an equation, right? And first of all, what is an equation itself? It is something that can be solved and simplified at the same time. For expressions, it was just that they can be simplified, they cannot be solved. For equations, they can be simplified and solved. So in order to figure out how to solve a linear equation, you can simply do addition, subtraction of the like terms and figure out your answer. Just the way that we did simplification. Obviously, first you're going to simplify stuff and then solve it. So now you can just simply say that addition, subtraction of like terms. All right. Add, subtract, like terms. Secondly, what's going to happen is that I could maybe use factorization. That is on the cards as well. Like there's nothing wrong with using factorization. I could maybe, factorize it, simplify it, and then, that is going to help me in solving it. Now, that is how you deal with your simple linear equations. Let's move on to non-linear equations. Okay, how many non-linear equations do we know of? And secondly, how many non-linear equations are there in your syllabus? Yes, guys, it's an open question to everyone. Yes, Zoya.
I think there are two,
Okay, which one, Zoya?
quadratic and cubic.
Cubic and quadratic. Well done. Yes, Zoya, these are the ones that you will be focusing the most on. But obviously, if there's any question which has a greater there could be questions which involve powers of, any equation which is not non-linear and it is also not quadratic or cubic, then that will be also included. And what these are is, okay, so the first one is what Zoya told us, it's quadratic. So you've got your quadratic equations. Then you've got your cubic equations. And then lastly, you've got your polynomials. Polynomials are simply, neither cubic nor quadratic. They are simply, the powers that they hold are greater than 2 and 3 as well. So it's kind of like the same thing. Same properties for both. Obviously, one property is to. Can anyone tell me what do they mean by a quadratic equation? Like, what is a quadratic equation? How do I differentiate between a quadratic equation and a linear equation? Yes? Okay, I don't know who raised their hand first, but let's ask Khushi.
So quadratic equation has maximum power of 2.
Well done, Khushi. Okay, let's ask Saad now. Saad, what else do you think? Khushi is
In
absolutely right.
quadratic equations, the power of the variable is 2, and in linear
Okay,
equations, it's 1.
all right, all right. What else? Yes, Zoya, what else?
It's the same thing, but basically there are now two x values.
Okay, yeah, same thing, 2x values, and it always forms a curve. Always forms a curve on the graph. Because after this, we're going to move forward with graphs, right? And this property, the curve forming property, is actually common for all three of them. Because linear equations always form straight line graphs. Every other equation, apart from it being a linear equation, is always forming a curve on the graph. Or it always forms curves on the graph. Could be more than one curves as well. Forms curves on the graph. So this is one property that is common for both quadratic and cubic and polynomial as well. Although in your syllabus, we're going to be concerned with cubic and quadratic the most. Polynomials aren't going to be discussed entirely. All right, but questions can come. We'll discuss those questions as well. And who can tell me what are cubic equations? What is that? Okay. Yes, can someone tell me what are cubic equations? Yes, guys. What are cubic equations? What could be the property of a cubic equation? Yes, Fahad, any idea what is a cubic equation? Fahad, are you there? Yes, Fahad, are you there? Fahad was in class. I don't know why he cannot hear me. Yes, people, what is the difference between a quadratic and a cubic equation, for example? Yes, guys. Someone's got their hand up. Yes, Kushi.
So cubic equations have a max power of 3.
Yeah, common sense. That's so simple. It's a maximum power of 3. And they both form curves on the graph. Now, the general forms. The general form of a quadratic equation is what? Can someone tell me? It's obviously going to begin with y. So yes, can someone tell me the general form of a quadratic equation? It is simply going to be ax squared plus bx plus c, where a, b, and c are obviously your constants. And the general form of a cubic equation is going to be similar to the general form of the quadratic equation. You just have one more term in it, so it can be easily be ax cubed plus bx squared plus cx plus d, where a, b, c, d are simply constants. Clear? Now, any example of a quadratic equation can be, like I'll give you the easiest example. Y is equal to x squared. That's a quadratic equation. It doesn't really matter if there are no other terms. As long as the maximum power of any variable in the equation itself is equal to 2, quadratic. Similarly, it could be an example of a cubic equation could be y is equal to x cubed plus 3. Again, this is a cubic equation. Regardless of the fact that there are no other terms available, it could be 3x maybe. Anything. But as long as the power is 2 and 3, then, that is how you're going to get along with it. All right. Now what's going to happen is that how do you solve these? That's the thing again. Because we talked about, solutions of linear equations. We've talked about solutions of linear equations in detail. Now we're going to look into how you're going to solve what you may call quadratic equation or a cubic equation. Is this clear, guys? All right. So now what's going to happen is that one common method that I can utilize for both is factorization. I can easily solve my quadratic equation, my cubic equation, my linear equation with factorization. It's like very simple to do so. Factorization is one. This is why I stressed upon the importance of factorization in the beginning as well, because of the fact that it's extremely important, whether you're simplifying it or whether you're using to solve whatever it is. It's like very simple. Also, one more method that you could use is, which other methods can be used to solve a quadratic equation? Yes, guys. Yes, guys. Come on. Yeah, Zoya.
Can completing the square be used?
Well done, Zoya. Excellent. Yes. Completing the square can be used. Oh. Okay, which else? What else could be used? Which else method? Yes, guys. Yes, Zoya, you've got your hand up again. Yes, Zoya, what else?
Middle term breaking.
Um, okay. Still in factorization. Okay, I'll give you that. What else? What else? Come on, there's this like one method that is like really common, like everyone uses it. You guys are like really missing out on that one. Yes, Ad? Yes, Ad?
Using simultaneous equations.
Hmm. Okay, that is one type of a question, sir. That's not a method. Yes, you can say that. Yes, you can say that. That is one way of viewing doing it. Okay. Hmm. Yes. Let's ask Ranim. Yes, Ranim. What do you think? How can I solve a quadratic equation? Yes, Ranim. Any idea, any opinion that you might have had, Ranim? Anything that you think can be used? Come on, Ranim. Think. Okay. I'll have to give it to Zoya then now. Yes, Zoya.
What about that formula? Um,
Well done, Zoya.
yeah, that formula. I forgot the name.
Quadratic. It's in the name
Yeah,
itself.
that.
It's in the name itself. It's the quadratic formula.
Oh, okay.
Zoya's on fire today. She's Googling like crazy. Right, Zoya? Well done. So the quadratic formula is going to be it's probably the most versatile method of solving a quadratic equation. But there's one slight limitation of the formula, which is that it can only be used for quadratic equations. Like it cannot be used for cubic or anything. Equations. All right. It can only be used for quadratic equations. All right. Okay. So that is how we've just covered the entirety of equations in your syllabus. Like we've just covered the basics of them, how they work. Why is this too much to the side? Now it makes a bit sense. All right. Now let's look into the quadratic formula because I've just mentioned two things that are extremely important over here. One is obviously your factorization. Second thing is obviously going to be your, why is the F2 separate from the rest of the thing? All right. And two things are going to be extremely important over here. Obviously, completing the squares as well, but quadratic formula is going to be extremely important, and I'm going to do that next. Okay, let's see. So if I were to use my quadratic formula, first of all, can anyone tell me what is it? What is the quadratic formula? Yes, guys. Who has ever has raised their hands can answer. Yes, Zoya.
Minus b plus minus square root of b square minus 4ac.
Just slow down a bit. Yes, I'm a bit too slow. Yes, Zoya, could you repeat that again?
Okay. Minus b
Minus b.
plus minus.
Okay, Zoya, I'm not that slow. Yes.
Okay. B square minus 4ac
B squared minus 4ac over
over 2a.
2a. Well done, Zoya. Yes, that is your quadratic formula. It is very simple. Now, where did I get the b's, the c's, and the a's? Wasn't an equation supposed to be written in terms of what you may call so I'm going to, I like using this as well. I've just discovered it and I think it looks cool. Like it's a new tape feature or something like that that this app has done, because I think it's nice. So, oops. Really highlights everything nicely. All right. Now, what's going to happen? Essentially, you're going to have what you may call, where did we get the A's, B's, and the C's? That we got from the general form of the quadratic equation, which was over here. This is where we got it from, the general form of the quadratic equation. But in order to use the quadratic formula, I'm going to have to further change this equation by putting y is equal to 0. And then I'm going to write it down as ax squared plus bx plus c. Any equation that you're about to solve using the quadratic formula, first you have to convert y is equal to 0 if it's not already 0, and then you have to do it. Where a, b's, and c's, a, b, and c are constants. All right, a, b's, and c's are constants. Now you guys can clearly see that I can only use the quadratic equation, only use the quadratic formula for the quadratic equation. Okay, now this is like a pop quiz question for every one of you. Let's see who can think out of the box. I've stated over here that this can be only used for quadratic equations. The quadratic formula is exclusive to the quadratic equations. But what if I tell you that there is a way for us to use the quadratic formula for cubic equations as well? How? That's the question to everyone. And I'm going to ask each and everyone. And whoever tells me the right answer is probably going to, oh my God. Yeah, so
Can I say that? Like
yeah,
how
yeah,
I
yes, yes.
oh,
Yes, sir.
oh, I think that we should filter out one x.
Filter out one x.
Like in factorization.
Okay, yes. Zoya, thank God I did not say what the bonus mark was, because I'm not going to give it to Zoya now. Yes, you're absolutely right, Zoya. If there is a quadratic equation, if there's a cubic equation, guys, what you're simply going to do is you can simply factorize it, and you factor out one of the x. So if I'll give you an example. For example, let's just say that, there is an equation as 3x squared plus 6x plus 12, 6x squared plus 12x plus 9 is equal to 0. Now, I know, like, I don't know how to solve it using any other method, because, there are three, should be 3x cubed, by the way. There are, multiple variables in it, and multi-powered variables, I should say. So what I'm simply going to do is, in order to use the quadratic formula, I can simply factor out x, maybe even take out, maybe it, okay, like this. What if the equation is like this? Right, let us make it a bit more simpler. So I can simply factor out 1x, maybe factor out a 3 as well. So it's going to be x squared plus 2x plus 4, and that is 0. And then you can use this, simplify this. Obviously, x is going to be 0 over here if you take x to the other side, 3x to the other side, and then you can simply use the remainder of this equation and use quadratic formula on it. It's like very, very simple, guys. It's nothing actually. It's like really, really simple. All right, any issues with this? You can easily use this. Anyone who does not understand a word from this. Honey, is this clear? Honey, can you hear
Yes,
me?
sir, clear.
All right. Yes, sir.
How do we remove 3x from the equation?
I factored it out. Oh, this one. How do you remove 3x from the equation now? Okay. One thing that you need to know is when you're factorizing now, Saad, what is going to happen, that you're going to have two equations like this. I don't know if you've done it or not. Oh, you've not done it with me, but this is how you're going to solve it. Clear, you do the method will as or when I do equation solving through factorization, you guys will understand it better. All right, so Saad, this is another method. When I tell you guys how to solve equation using factorization, it's not going to be like, it's obviously going to involve the things that we have studied when we did factorization of expressions, but this is how you're actually going to solve it. Yes, Zoya.
So if we use this method where 3x is equals to 0 or whatever, so
Mhm.
we'll be getting 3x values, right?
Yeah, obviously you're going to get, because it's a cubic equation. Yes, well done there. It's a cubic equation, so you're supposed to get 3x values. All right.
Okay.
If you solve the equation, if it's a cubic equation, it's going to have 3x values. So it's going to have 1x value over here, and obviously this is a quadratic equation you're solving, 2x values over here. In total, 3. Clear, guys? Is there anyone who still does not get this? All right. Hopefully this is clear. Okay, now let me wipe this off. This is just a bonus mark question. Okay, let's just do an example. This seems like child's play, to be honest. I think you guys will be able to do questions of these sort. Let's just do an example. So let's just have minus 5x squared is equal to 5. Can you guys solve this using quadratic formula? If so, thank you. Kindly do it quickly. All right. I will get up to drink water, guys. Just give me 2 minutes. Solve this question. Okay. And use quadratic formula, and please do not use your calculators. All right. Actually try to do it. Think of it as a paper 2 question. All right. Just give me 2 minutes. Yes, I'm back, guys. Yes. Any development on the answer? Hmm?
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah, no.
So, if we're supposed to do without the calculator, we'll get in that fraction kind of form thingy. So, do we like get the actual values of x?
Where if it's not solvable, all right. For example, if the answer is coming in a decimal of some sort, or it's coming in some sort of fraction which you cannot simplify, or if it's not a perfect square, even because obviously you need a perfect square over here as well. Inside the surd you're going to use, you can leave your answer in the surd form as well. The examiner won't mind that. But obviously it's not the case that maybe you have like a perfect square. If it can be simplified, you have to. But if you have to leave it till the last stage, before before that, you have to leave it such that before that you should not be there shouldn't be any need to use a calculator. Clear? So you need to simplify it till the very end, and you can leave your answers in fractions, decimals, whatever you want. Clear?
Okay, sir.
Yes, Fahad.
So the answer is like root of negative 91.
The answer square root of negative
Like
90.
square root of negative 91. Like that's not solvable.
Are you sure? Well, let me take out a calculator too. I have a calculator too. Okay, let's try to do this. The answer square root of 91 isn't solvable.
So negative 91.
Oh my god. That's impossible to solve. That's wait, let me see. It should not be the case.
Actually, a part of the answer is like it's like 3 plus
Mhm.
minus root of negative 91 divided by 10.
Okay, wait. B squared minus 4ac. First of all, you do realize that I'm going to have to, I hope you guys did this too. Always try to write it down in the form that you're taught as. All right, I've taught you as ax squared plus bx plus c. That's my preference, but the reason why I'll tell you what's my ideology behind it. Everyone does it. I write it in descending powers of x. So over here it's not written in descending powers of x. And what I love to do is that I try to keep my x squared term as positive. I don't know why, I just like that. That's my preference, but you should do it as well because it gets a bit more easier to solve when you make sure that your x squared term is positive. So if my x squared term is positive, it's going to be 5x squared minus 3x plus 5 is equal to 0. Clear? All right, that is how it's going to be. Again, you're going to have your ax plus bx, ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Now what you're going to have is, compare the coefficients and write it down. So it's going to be, if I write it down in the answer, it's going to be x is equal to, oops, first I need to write down the entire formula, 2a, x is equal to minus b, b is already minus, so it's minus minus 3, plus minus under root, you guys should not be getting that under root 91. Let's see what's the issue. So it's going to be minus 3 whole squared minus 4 times a is 5 times c, which is also 5. Oh no. Oh ho ho ho. Yes. Fahad, you're right. I messed up over here. Wait. How about if I just tweak this question a bit and just do like no harm, no foul if I just change the question a bit and just make it like -5. Apologies, my bad. I did not realize that the question would have been unsolvable. So now Fahad, I think it's solvable. I think so. Yes. Now guys, solve the rest. 2 times 5. And then obviously you're going to, if I solve this further, you're going to have x is equal to 3 plus minus under root 9 minus 4 times minus 5. What is the answer? You guys are too slow. I take out my own calculator. It's 100. 9 plus 100. 109 over 10. All right. So now what's going to happen is that you can use this. So either x can be the same thing but with a positive sign, or x can be the same thing with a negative sign. All right, if x can be the same thing with a negative sign or a positive sign. Clear? Now, if we solve this further, it is going to simply be 3 plus under root 9, 109 over 100. And I can replicate this answer over here too, because it's just going to be 3 is equal to minus 9. Clear, guys? You're going to have your answer. Now, if we want an answer in terms of what you may call 3 plus under root 109 over 100. If we take it out in decimals, I'm getting 0.134. I hope that's correct. And if I do not have a decimal, it is going to simply be, if I do not have the negative positive sign, negative 0.07. Yes, whoever's got their hand up can ask me what they want to ask.
So I do not understand why did you put 100 as the denominator?
Because I'm an idiot. Thank you for pointing that out. Apologies. Yes. I think I'm hungry. That's why I'm making these mistakes. And the other guy is just going to be like 1.34 now. Thank you for pointing that out, Kushi. The rest are sleeping. I'm positive now. Yes, see if I've made any other mistake. I don't think I have. And the only reason why I converted this to -5 is because I just made up the example by myself. So if it had been +5 over here, then you would have had a negative answer inside the square root, and that cannot be solved. So then you would have had no solutions to this question. Clear? Is there anyone who does not get this tip? Yes. Saad, what's up?
Sir, do we need to simplify further after we get unsimplified square root, or can we leave it at that?
Paper 4, simplify. Paper 2, don't. Paper 2, you cannot. In paper 2, you cannot further. Like, for example, if the paper is, like, for example, if I'm giving the paper in paper 2, forget about this and this. If I'm giving, if I'm sitting for paper 2, how can you further simplify this, Saad? Is there any way? Like, if there is, I don't really know. Actually, I do know, but like, there's no way that, you can solve it. So leave it as it is. This is correct. This is correct. But in paper 4, don't. The examiner is probably going to cut 1 mark for non-simplification of the answer. So in paper 4, leave it till here. Okay, but let's just write that down as well. So for paper 2, and for paper 4, you're going to have this. Is this clear, guys? Is there anyone who has any issues with this?
Clear.
Thank you, sir. All right. So this is for paper 2. And the pink guy is for paper 4. They both are the same shade of pink. Apologies. All right, just do one more question and then you guys can run off. Do it like this. Right. This is an easy question. I usually give this to like grade 9ers, but it's all right. X square minus 5 is equal to 0. Solve this and let me know the answer. Quickly do it, guys. I think Basit has a class after this. Basit, you have a class after this?
Yes, sir.
When does it begin, Basit?
Sir, he begins at 5 minutes late.
He's like me.
Yeah.
It's all right, Basit. See, I'm not the only one who's always late. Actually, to be honest, today I wasn't late. Today you guys showed up late, especially Hani. And do you know? Okay, one more thing that I want to tell everyone. I'll take attendance in the first 5 to 10 minutes of the class, and then I won't take attendance. Okay. So whoever showed up late, like Asim and Hani, they have been marked absent. And also, Assalamu alaikum, Shafi, how are you? Oh, Shafi was here. I think Shafi was here, but he left. I was under the impression that he did show up to class. Yes, done with the question. Whoever does it, please do it without the calculator. It's for your own good. And whoever does it first, just let me know. Also, I have to check your tests, the worksheets that you did in the next class, the previous class that you had, and I also have to post the notes and the recordings. I remember. Apologies, Kushi. I will try to do that today.
Okay, sir.
And Honey, Honey, do you have a class after this?
No,
Honey, can you hear
sir.
me? Honey, stay back. I want to talk to you. Guys, tell me the answer to this.
Okay.
Come on. It should not take this long. Zoya, any answer to this?
Yes, sir. I got x is equals to 2.24 and x is equals to negative 2.24.
Wow, Zoya. Someone used a calculator on this. X is equal to 2.24 or x is equal to negative 2.24. Even though Zoya used a calculator, she's getting this answer. If I write 2.24, someone's got their hand up. Yes, guys, speak. It's not an issue.
Sir, I got under root 5 and negative under
You
root.
got what? Under root 5?
Yeah.
That's weird. Wait, let me see. Is this Basit? Oh, yes, Basit, it's the same thing. You guys are getting the same answer. Well done, Basit. So if you guys have got the answer, wait, let me erase this in order to avoid confusion. Oh, 2.24. Yes. So if you guys got any of these 4 answers that are on the left right hand side of your screen, bingo. That is correct. Clear? Now, boys and girls, run off. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Keep smiling. Bye bye. Allah Hafiz.
Yeah, please.
Allah Hafiz. Assalamu alaikum, honey. How are you?
Assalamualaikum, sir. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. Yes, honey, I remember that you had, I think you had emailed me or you were telling me that you had gotten completing the square wrong.
Yes, टीचर वो पता नहीं वो लास्ट क्लास में समझ में नहीं आया था.
All right. Which part?
टीचर the last questions वो solve नहीं हो रहा था.
This one?
Teacher, I don't have the questions with me right now.
No, no.
Ek minute.
Oh, wait. Let me share my screen. I thought I was. Wait. This one? It will be on these questions.
Yes, yes, these questions.
All right. Honey, I'm going to do it a bit quickly. All right. I have another class after this. So what is going to happen is, honey, you're simply going to do, I'm going to rewrite the entire thing down, and I'm going to add half of this number, whatever this number is. If it's -6, half of this number is going to be what? 6/2. And then I'm going to square it. Clear, honey?
Yes, okay.
Is this clear? That is what we've done throughout the thing. We used to take
Yes,
half
yes.
of the middle term. The middle term was taken as half. We took half of that middle term. The B term is taken as half and it's being squared. And at the same time, what is going to happen? You're going to subtract it as well. Because, honey, whenever you are adding something into the equation by yourself, you have to subtract it into the equation by yourself too, in order to create that balance. And the rest of the terms are going to come as it is. Clear, honey? The only thing I have
Yes.
done is that I've taken half of this, I've divided it by 2 to make it half, right? And then I've just squared it. And whatever I'm getting, obviously I'm getting 3, but whatever I'm getting, I have added that onto the equation and subtracted it from the equation. Clear? Now, honey, I'm going to write it down again. It's going to be x squared minus 6x plus 3 whole squared. Clear, honey? And it's obviously going to be minus 3 whole squared over there, plus 1. Clear?
Yes, teacher. Clear. That's all?
No.
Oh,
Wait.
okay.
Then this term, honey, this guy alone, this can simply be written down as x minus 3 whole squared. Take the first term, x, remove the square, take this negative sign, and take the last term without the square. Write them down together as x minus 3 and whole square it. Just as I did over here. You can clearly see it was written as x squared plus 4x plus 2. So what I did was I ignored everything else. I just wrote x plus 2 and then I whole squared it. Clear? Is this part clear?
Yes. Yes.
Then,
clear.
honey, the rest is simple. On the outsides, it's going to be solve howsoever you want. So on the inside, you're going to have x minus 3 whole squared. On the outside, it's going to be minus 3 squared as 9. 9 plus 1 is 8. Simply, you write down your answer as x minus 3 whole squared minus 8. Clear, honey?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Any issues with this, honey?
No, sir. It's clear now.
Are you sure? Try
Yes.
out some questions. I think I gave you guys completing the square questions. I did not. Wait. I should have. I've not given you guys completing the square question. Okay, in the next worksheet, I will remember to give you guys completing the square questions, the worksheet that happens with the other teacher. All right. What you're going to do, honey, for me is that you have to attempt those questions. If you cannot understand them still, you can come back to me and I'll explain it again. Clear?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you.
No worries, honey. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.